relax. It's just a game. It was my first time facing off against the beast known as Barroth. I remember very little from that fight. I had already carded twice. In Monster Hunter, it's 3 strikes and you're out, so this was my last chance. It was a blur of tail swipes that knocked me over, and then he came barreling at me with his head down, nostrils flaring. I went flying. He hit me enough times that I saw stars, and I stood there, disoriented, unable to move. And that's when he finished me off. He had combo locked me into oblivion, and I had failed the quest. As the bagpipe music played and the camera swirled around my motionless body, I raged. Choice words may have been spoken and controllers might have been tossed. I was mad. But I used my anger to try again. And while it would be several more tries before I finally beat the Barroth, all that frustration finally paid off. And it felt good. Not only had I defeated the monster, but I mastered my emotions as well. So the next time you're tempted to say, "It's just a game," remember this. Games can be a mirror to show us about ourselves, if we're willing to look. I'm Eugene Hua, and this is the Magic Hour Show. Hello and welcome to the show for March 24th, 2015. So glad that you could join us. I'm here today with Mikey Rollins.
Hola.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. How you doing today, man?
I am well. I'm pretty good. My throat is feeling better today, so.
Well, good. Do you do the lemon water trick?
I might. I got the warm water like an old person.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So Ryan can't join us this week, but I called on an old friend, Dave Kalo. He's here to join us. Hey, Dave.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
So, Dave, since you're this is your first time on the show, could tell us a little bit about where you're at right now and where you come from?
Sure. Well, we've known each other for a long time in internet years.
Mm-hmm.
Back when you were writing about Apple and I was writing about Apple over at the unofficial Apple weblog. And today, you can find me at appleworld.today doing pretty much the same thing I was doing back then, writing all sorts of things about tips and tricks and articles by and for people who love and use Apple's products and services.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here, like I said.
Well, we're going to move right into the next section, which is what we've been playing this week. I'll start, I guess. I mentioned last week I was playing Tomb Raider. I got a couple more hours in on Tomb Raider, which isn't that much, but I managed to move the story ahead a little bit. And still, Laura does not have a coat. She's still cold in her tank top, and so I need to get that girl a coat. So we got to keep pushing on ahead with the story there. I've also been playing a little bit of Shin Megami Tensei 4 on the 3DS. And when I say a little bit, I mean the tutorial section. Because that game is hard.
Yes, it is very, very hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Okay, so this is my first Shin Megami Tensei game. It was on sale, so I picked it up. And I also wanted to get some Club Nintendo coins before it all went away. So I could get myself up to that platinum, Yeah. Anyway, so it was on sale and I bought it. And I always wanted to try one, so I thought, hey, this looks cool. Let's try it. And I died a lot in the tutorial. Which surprised me. So, I'm so like Shin Megami Tensei, you go around and the first thing you're supposed to do is befriend 4 demons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kept befriending, I got 3, and then the 4th one would never be my friend, and then it would kill me, and then I would die. So that was fun. But once I got 4,
fun.
Yeah, once I got 4, I was like, okay, every time I meet a demon, I'm like, I'm going to talk to them. I'm not going to fight them. I'm just going to talk to them. Because if you have the same kind of demon in your party, they'll leave you alone, right?
Yep. Or sometimes heal you, which is always good as well.
Or give you stuff. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I've learned that about the game. And it's also always good to swing first.
Sure.
So that, yeah.
You get the upper hand in battle.
Yeah, something like that. So anyway, so it's interesting. Hopefully I'll progress further than the tutorial and I'll understand what this whole game is about. Unless that is what the game is about. I don't know.
It's got more to it. I'd say it's a very interesting game, and with this being your first introduction, it's probably the most approachable one, which is kind of weird to say since how many times you've died. It gets better, but it does get harder too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I see you're playing the first Shin Megami Tensei, right?
Yeah. So I'm replaying the classic Shin Megami Tensei that was ported to iOS. On the iPhone. So I believe it's a port of the Game Boy Advance version that came out in Japan. So this is its only official release in the United States or North America. So it's a pretty interesting game, but it's actually even harder. Like I died in the beginning. Like I get the tutorial is just you going through and you name your demons, and one's a law, one's like an actual like chaos demon, and then you have a neutral. And okay. Then once you get out and about in the world, everything just pretty much mows you down. So it's a lot of like graceful grinding, which is great for being on iOS. I kind of wish they actually would have ported 4 over to iOS because it'd be great to kind of play on the go.
And by the way, graceful grinding would be a great name for a gaming podcast.
Yes, I guess that would be that's your new MMO podcast you're starting next week, Dave.
I seriously love that graceful grinding. That is great.
Yeah, I'm going to register that right now.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like, should I be buying this domain?
Right, when you've done everything to do in Warcraft.
Yeah. I've also been playing Mario Party 10, which we just got in on Friday, I think, with the kids and the family. Mario Party is like, it's our jam. I don't know. We started with Mario Party 8 on the Wii, and I from what I hear, it's not a good one, apparently. But we didn't know any better because it was our first one, and we played the heck out of that game. And so Mario Party 9 we weren't as happy with some of the changes they had made, so we didn't play that as much. But I think with 10. There's enough variety in there, the different modes and stuff. There's the amiibo mode where you can just put your amiibo down and then that becomes your playing piece on the board. And then Bowser mode, which is a lot of fun, where one of you plays as Bowser and you're trying to chase down the other players. And when you catch them, then you play this Bowser battle against them. You control Bowser and the other players try to avoid getting killed by you. So it's fun. That's a lot of fun.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's good with the kids.
Okay, I'll have to pick that one up. The last one I played is Mario Party 6, which was on the GameCube.
Yeah, what did you think of that one?
I really enjoyed it. That was like mine and my wife's game while she was pregnant.
Oh,
so we'd sit around and jam that.
Yeah, it's fun, right? Like it's fun mini games. It can get really competitive if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
have you played with any amiibos yet? Because my son's been looking at those, but we haven't pulled the trigger on one.
We've played with them, yes. Well, I don't have quite as many as some of the other people on the podcast do, but we have quite a few.
Who's not present?
Yeah, he's not present. Yeah. I have a few. We've used them in Smash, and then of course we've used them in Mario Party 10 as well to unlock that mode. But yeah. What are you hesitant to dive into that or?
Well, we have Smash Brothers. He got it for his birthday just I think 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And so he's crazy for it. This is the game that he's been drooling for.
Right.
And he's loving it, and he's kicking my backside every time because unless I'm what's her name, Jigglypuff. I'm very good with Jigglypuff.
Oh, okay.
You sort of learn the moves for one character, and you just get stuck with that character. I think that's what I've done.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be anyone else. Yes,
he's your main. Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly what they add. Is it additional moves? I know it's a different character, but I mean, like for instance, there's a Mario amiibo for Smash Brothers, but Mario's obviously already a playable character. So
That's
what
right.
does it add?
In fact, all the amiibos are all the playable characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that it doesn't add new characters per se. What it does do is it can sort of stand in like as a proxy for you.
Oh, okay.
So you put your amiibo in the game and it plays independently, and you train it up by fighting against it or fighting with it or whatever you want to do. And it levels up to, I think level cap is 50. By which point it's well nigh unbeatable.
Yep, pretty much.
It's crazy insane what happens to these amiibos.
Is it like playing a hunter in Warcraft and having a pet? Does it fight alongside you? Or wait, you said you can fight against?
It can fight with you. It's basically like another player.
Okay.
But it's
like
AI.
a trainable AI.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So for Smash, if that sounds cool to you, then by all means. I don't really use it for Smash that much. I just like them as figurines, so I have a bunch of them.
They are great.
Just
looking.
just the ones that I liked. The kids wanted some, so they got their favorites, and I got my favorites.
Yeah.
I seem to have more favorites than they do, but
That's usually what it is.
So, but it's come in handy with Mario Party because, some of them, you can use them in Mario Party. You don't have to get the new Mario Party line ones. You can use, like, say, for example, if you have the Smash Peach amiibo, you can use that in Mario Party. You don't have to get the new Mario Party Peach, for example. Yeah. So the characters remain the same. So some of them can be used in, both games.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I'm sure we'll break down. Go to Toys R Us eventually.
Yeah.
And get a couple.
Yeah,
just get a couple. And if you don't go crazy and don't get them all, kind of thing. Just
right.
Get a couple.
Unless you're into that.
Unless you're into.
I mean, as Ryan has all.
Sorry,
of them.
Ryan. He's not here, so we can throw him under the bus.
There we go.
So, Mikey, what else have you been playing?
I have been playing Terra Battle, which is another iOS. And we're going to have a theme here of iOS games, because that's been my my thing.
That's cool.
So that's the game from Hironobu Sakaguchi, the creator of Final Fantasy.
That's right.
And so it's pretty cool. I've been probably played 30, 40 hours of this so far.
Wow.
So
have you spent any money on it?
I haven't found where I could actually really spend money other than to buy energy, and they keep giving me free energy all the time.
Oh, there you go. That's good.
This is one of the few free-to-play games that I don't get sick with, because, I mean, I can pick it up, I can play it for a couple minutes, lunch break, taking some time out on a walk and just sitting down and doing it really quick. And then the regen of like your points, your stamina, like heals up so quick that I'm like, I kind of feel bad that I've been playing it for so long and haven't had the opportunity to give them money. Because I would buy some premium characters if they would offer me one. So, if anyone's listening that can pull those triggers,
there you go.
Rare gotcha pulls. I can do it.
I loaded it onto my my iOS device, and then I never really got started with it for one reason or another. So I'm interested to maybe try that again. But
yeah, it's one of the few, as I mentioned, free to play games that I feel doesn't shove. Hey, if you paid us, $10, you could get ahead really quick.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, and then if you
That's
complete a section of the story, each section that you complete, they then refill your stamina.
Oh, okay.
So, I think I played through, when I first sat down, I think I played through the first 5 legs of the story without, even using an energy to refill my stamina.
Wow.
And then they gave me I think 30 to start, and then every time you log in, you get perks, and I want to say I have 140 things of energy.
Okay.
So, which would refill my stamina if I needed it, and sometimes I'll use it as a continue at a boss when I get to that, just because they wipe the floor with me, because that game also gets really hard as you keep going deep.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of fun because like the way the cards move, like you just kind of see your characters as like face cards and they're on a grid, and it plays out kind of like a line of sight. Like two people have to be on either side of the monster, and with one card you can help move the other cards up around the monsters, and so you can usually chain them together, and you want to kind of have them where they're like in rows together, so that way they help boost the other players, kind of like a morale. But did you guys ever play Lost Odyssey for the Xbox 360? It was the other Sakaguchi game that came out.
No, I never did.
No, me neither.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say that game had like a turn-based like battle system similar to like classic Final Fantasy, but the big meat and potatoes of the games was like through these like little stories that you'd pick up, and there would be nothing more than just text on the screen and like some music in the background, and you would just kind of read it, and it was supposed to be emotional. That's kind of how the story plays out, is what I was gonna say.
So the combat sounds a little bit like Fire Emblem, like where you pair up and you become stronger.
Yeah, actually, I guess you could say it's like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, it would be pretty similar because like the only thing is that you can't have one person on one side actually fighting. You have to have basically the enemy surrounded in order to fight.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I'd say like it's like flat Fire Emblem.
Right. Well, it's good advice for real life too.
Oh yeah.
And I see you've been playing Lastronaut as well.
Yeah, I also noticed David been playing. This is a free to download iOS game.
Yeah. I looked at the trailer for it. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I thought it was shocked. They had it like in I think it wasn't like the editor's choice, but it was like prominently displayed in the App Store. And I was like, hey, what's this? Like, it's like Endless Runner. I was like, man, I'm kind of tired of Endless Runners. I'm like, a free Endless Runner with no in-app purchases? I'm like, okay, I'll download it and try it.
Right. Sure, I'll try it. Why not?
Yeah, why not? And I've been playing it a lot. It reminds me of Jetpack Joyride when I first played it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so the laser weapon is probably my favorite. What have you found that you is your jam in that game, Dave?
Well, I love the slow motion kills. They're super cool. So if you, the idea is you're the last astronaut on the planet as the robots are taking over, and it's your job to be the last one to make sure everyone gets off. So you're running and you have all sorts of cool weapons and you're shooting the missiles that are coming at you. And if you do a really spectacular hit, the game will slow down the slow motion and just show the explosion and the heat waves sort of ripple on the ground. And if you die in a fantastic way, the same thing happens. You get to watch your death in gorgeous slow motion. And it's really cool. I will say, though, this game is hard. Mm-hmm. I've not gotten very far. You would think by now I would have figured out how to run and jump and shoot at the same time. But I like that it's challenging. I can't just blow through it, and earn 3,000 coins in a day. Yeah. It's hard, but it's fun. I like it. And the little 8-bit look of it is super cool.
Oh yeah, it's very, very nice. I've really thoroughly enjoyed it.
So I have a question. It's an endless runner. So do you ever get to the spaceship?
I don't know. I've never made it that far.
Yeah, I've never gotten
Probably
near
not,
that
right?
far.
Okay.
I guess not. It's like Spy Hunter. We were playing Spy Hunter at the arcade as a kid.
Oh, sure.
That's the original Endless Runner.
That's true, I guess.
Because I remember getting it on the NES and then Game Genieing it and then finding out there's no end.
Huh, I never thought of that. Well, the end is just basically when you die, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or run out of quarters.
Yeah, I guess that was the real objective.
Yeah. So Dave, what else have you been playing?
Well, let's see. On iOS, I've been playing Alto's Adventure. This is from Snowman. It's there's no in-app purchases, but it's something I like. Once you buy it, you can play it. Mm-hmm. This is an endless snowboarder, I guess you would say.
Cool.
So the idea is you're sitting around on the beautiful snowy mountainside, and your llamas escape and start running down the hill, and you have to jump on your snowboard and chase them down. And so there are different missions or achievements, like capture so many llamas, and then there are coins you can buy to buy stuff to upgrade your experience. And you can also pull off tricks like grinding along the bunting or grinding off of buildings. And as you grind, you get a speed boost, and different other benefits show up. And I can't stop playing this game. I've been playing it since it was in beta because I reviewed it for work.
Yeah.
And I maxed it out when it was in beta. I earned everything, and I had like 30,000 coins because I just genuinely liked it. And as soon as it came out, I bought it right away. It's really, really pretty. It's like Monument Valley level pretty. The 2D art is really great, and the physics work really well. Night turns to day. There's all sorts of weather to contend with. At some point, you'll I always say ski because board sounds weird. You'll board past the elder's tent and kick a little snow in his face. That makes him very angry, and then he starts chasing you, and you have to escape him. And I think there are 6 elders in total, and each one is faster than its predecessor. So that by the time you're on the 3rd and 4th elder, you really got to be pulling off as many tricks as you can just to build up enough speed to stay ahead.
Right.
And there are obstacles like rocks and little campfires that you need to avoid. It's such a fun game. I
cool.
absolutely love it. This silly little snowboarding game about chasing llamas has been like in my top 5 for weeks.
It looks really awesome. I'm sitting here looking on the App
nice.
Store.
Yeah.
It's great, and the music's nice too.
The art style looks really, really good.
Yeah. So I definitely recommend it. It's a very fun game. And like I said, no in-app purchases. Once you've paid it, you're done. You can just go and play and have a great time.
So how long does a typical run last? Like, is it quite long, or like can you chain it on for 20 minutes or something? Or
I don't know about that long. I think I've gone, maybe 6 or 7 minutes in a run, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's
figuring I can only get maybe 20 seconds in Lastronaut.
Right.
And it just keeps going and going. And it's fun and very, very pretty. It's a game I'm really into. Like I mentioned, I've been playing Super Smash Bros. With my son. He got that for his birthday just a couple weeks ago. I'm still bad at it. I'm trying to remember back in the day when I played console games when I was a kid and trying to memorize the key combinations to do a certain attack. And he's getting much better at it than me. But like I said, I'm a master with Jigglypuff. If I get him or her, I don't even know. On my controller, then I'm good.
Looks good.
We also got Disney Infinity on the Wii U, or as I call it, Disney Skylanders.
Yeah.
Because it's basically prompting us to buy all the characters. And you talked about good-looking characters with the amiibos. The Infinity characters are beautiful. Have you seen these?
Yeah. I have some too.
Oh my goodness, they're so good-looking. So let me see.
They really went with an interesting art style and a consistent one across all the characters. So I really appreciate that. I think the sort of a little bit blocky nature of them, but it looks really nice.
Yeah, and I noticed that consistency you're talking about because he has some wildly different characters. He has Merida from Brave and Baymax from Big Hero 6. I mean, you couldn't get more different characters, but they all have that chunky, blocky style. And we've got, what's his name? Rocky from Guardians of the Galaxy, who's on a really cool-looking pedestal, too. And it's a super fun game. It's a lot deeper than I thought it would be. I knew there was like an adventure side and a playing side with the whole toy box thing. But toy box is so much deeper than I thought. You can build really extravagant things, and then people can share the things they've built and make them available to other players. People are making mini games, which is really cool. That you can go download and play, and you can share your own mini game. And my son has really spent more time building than playing the adventures, which is kind of interesting to me. He's almost using it like a Disney Minecraft. And he'll build this whole thing and say, hey, look, come up and I built this world, come play in it with me.
I think that's exactly what they're going for with that.
You're going to sell me on this. I don't own Disney Infinity, so I've been looking for a reason to get it. Because I wanted to get like all the Guardians of the Galaxy. Because I was like, man, Rocket looks amazing. It's like
he does.
I was like, I just need these.
Are there now different versions of Disney Infinity? Because we got it last year, I guess the first one, and I don't think it has any of the Marvel people in it or anything like that. So
yeah, it's this version that I believe has it.
Yeah, 2.0.
2.0 has it, and then there's not a special Marvel edition either, right? It's just 2.
I think there's a Marvel starter pack, but it isn't. It's just a set you could buy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And the characters have skill trees, and of course you can, upgrade them as you want and follow the path. We just unlocked dual wielding for Rocky, so now he's super cool because he's got his two guns. So I'm very impressed with that game, even more so than I thought I would be.
That's cool.
Back to iOS, I am playing Lastronaut, like I said, and I'm doing very, very poorly. I found a free card game called Dead Man's Draw that I like a whole heck of a lot. This has a pirate theme, and basically you're playing a deck of cards versus an AI deck of cards, and they all do different things. The idea is to get as many points as you can before the draw pile is exhausted. And the different cards do different things. There's one that might let you peek at what's coming up next. There's one that forces you to draw 2 cards. There's one that allows you to eliminate a card that your opponent has scored. There's something that doubles points. And the thing is, while you're drawing, you can keep going into sort of a push your luck mechanic, because if you draw the same card twice, then you score no points for that turn, regardless of what you've got out. It's really, really fun. I think they're actually kickstarting a physical paper card version of this game as well.
Interesting.
But in the meantime, it's called Dead Man's Draw, and it is free on iOS, and it's a whole lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. It's also available on PC, I think.
Is it?
It's not free. It's $10, but you can get it on Steam or Gamersgate or anywhere else.
It is a game I would gladly have paid for because it's so well done. Yeah. I was quite surprised that it's free. And of course, there are in-app purchases if you're impatient, but I like to save up all the in-game gold as I can.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm still on Kingdom Rush. I love tower defense games, and right now I'm playing Kingdom Rush Origins, which is, I think, the latest in this series. So basically, the bad guys are coming. You can set up all different kinds of towers, archers, magic, soldiers, and this dude that throws rocks. It's kind of funny. Basically, the cannons.
Yeah.
And place those strategically, upgrade them strategically to fight off wave after wave of bad guy. I love this game because they put so many in-jokes and little Easter eggs and Star Wars references and Disney references, and you have to try to find them. And if you find them, you can unlock achievements and stuff. Like the most recent level I played, there was the little marching brooms from the Sorcerer's Apprentice and Mickey's little blue hat and a flying book. And if you found and tapped all 3, you unlocked the apprentice achievement. So there's all these little goofy things. There was a bantha from Star Wars, and if you tap him, he makes a little bantha poop, which is kind of funny. So there's all sorts of little stuff like that you can do in the meantime that just makes it a whole lot of fun. I also want to talk about Valiant Hearts: The Great War. I've been playing this on my Amazon Fire TV. Just over the weekend, my wife and daughter were out camping, and my son and I were here, so we had what we called Boys Weekend, which is basically video games and comic books for 3 days. And I was just flipping around on the Fire, because I forget this thing has games. And I came across Valiant Hearts, and I was struck by the art. Basically, it tells a story of 2 young men who are pulled into World War I in France, and their parallel adventures and how they eventually come together. And boy, is this a fun game. It's really more about the story than the gameplay. You're solving really simple puzzles. You might have to, find out how to lift the winch to get the bar that you need to open the door. That kind of thing. But it's so pretty, and the music is really beautiful, and the story is really nice about these 2 people coming together. And if you want to, you can even read facts about the battle you're seeing, and your character has the chance to collect artifacts, and you can go in a gallery and look at them and learn about this postcard from home or the buttons from the French soldier's uniform or stuff like that. So, I mean, if you're into, you got to be a history nerd like me to really enjoy it as much as I am, but it's such a fun game. I played through the whole first chapter in a night because I didn't want to stop playing it. And I know it's available for other platforms as well. I think there might be a iOS version and maybe a Steam version too.
Yeah, I have it for PlayStation 4. I haven't even started it yet. Yeah, it was free on PlayStation Plus.
Oh, great. Yeah, it's super fun. So I think the first chapter was free, and now I am being prompted to pay for additional chapters, which I'll probably do because I want to see what happens.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does look really nice. It uses the same engine as Rayman Origins and Child of Light.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised that it looks good.
It certainly does, and it plays well on my little TV thing.
No, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that does it for games we've been playing. Our topic for this week is dealing with frustration and losing. And I wanted to highlight a couple of news items in keeping with that theme. Bloodborne was released today, which is, I guess, this successor to Demon Souls and Dark Souls, even though it's not a Souls game but in name. It is by the same creator. And if the reviews are to be believed, it looks to be even more difficult. So have either of you ever played Dark Souls or Demon Souls?
I played Demon Souls on PlayStation 3.
Yeah. It's hard, right?
It is very hard. I wanted to be excited for this game, but
yeah. Well, you have a PlayStation 4. You could get it.
Yeah, I could get this. Actually, I was thinking on Amazon earlier, like I could just order it. It could be here in a couple of days.
Do it for the show. Do it for the show.
Do it for the show.
Come on.
Okay.
Well, no, you don't have to.
Well, I interestingly, I have a friend who is coming down to spend the week next week, and I believe he is bringing it because he is sitting here sending me messages about it.
Oh, there you go.
So
you don't have to buy it.
Yeah, I'll play it on his because I fall out of love with these games really quick, and it's not that I don't enjoy the way they are or the challenge. It's just it's in the theme of this podcast, being a parent's hard, and even though I can technically, I guess, play games whenever I want, I still like to limit the time, and I would like to make bigger strides. Like I like the rewards of playing a game that's a little easier to get further in and kind of enjoy a story versus playing a game like this where I have to learn the systems and then grind and then enjoy the game at that point.
Right.
It's probably the same reason I don't like modern Final Fantasies. Everyone says it gets good after about 12 hours.
Yeah, sometimes we don't have 12 hours. That's the thing. Yeah. Well, another news item that also links to frustration. So you know how in North America we got the new 3DS XL from Nintendo, but we did not get the new 3DS, the smaller version, the one with the interchangeable faceplates.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's kind of the one I wanted. So apparently on the FCC website, a listing appeared today for the new 3DS, not the XL, that was submitted by Nintendo for wireless testing and approval. And so it was submitted in September, and it was not to be publicly revealed until 180 days after that day. So I guess that's now. So I'm not sure what to make of this.
I'm going to share something right up to the front. So I am a big fan of the smaller 3DS.
Yeah.
And I was all about it. But now that I've been playing Monster Hunter on the XL with the little circle nub control stick, I couldn't imagine actually using the smaller one.
No? But the smaller one has a bigger screen than the old small one.
Yes.
So but I know it's not as big.
Yeah, it's not as big. It's a little bit bigger. It's kind of like the 6+6 thing, Yeah. You have the enormous one, then you have the not so enormous one.
Yeah.
And as someone who does have the enormous phone and have really small hands, this having the XL 3DS, I could actually imagine my hands get cramped on it, even just using the XL.
Yeah.
Because of all the extra space I really need. So I would see that some people with if you had larger hands and playing with a smaller one, I could see where it could actually be a source of frustration.
Well, we'll see.
Those face plates are so awesome.
Oh, it's killing me.
And getting the white one and getting the Super Famicom buttons.
I know. Okay, we're geeking out here. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Dave. Well, let's take a little break, and when we come back with our topic of dealing with frustration and losing, we're going to get right into it and see what we've learned over the years. Stick around. Welcome back. Our topic for this week is dealing with frustration and losing. And I just wanted to start off with a little article. It was published in April of last year. And they took a look, this was a psychological study. They took a look at how mean people would be after playing frustrating video games. And they measured meanness by asking people to put their hand in a bowl of cold water for 25 seconds. But they would tell them that the previous person had determined that time. Then the subjects were to play a frustrating game, and then they were to assign how long the next person would have to hold their hand in the water for. And so they use that as a measure of whether they, if they were frustrated, if they were frustrated, they would assign a longer time to the next player, as a, to, I guess, either work out their frustration or to punish the next person or whatever it was. So they did find that was the case, that frustration led to a more aggressive behavior. And, people are always, a lot of groups target video games violence as an issue leading to aggression. But this study said that maybe frustration would lead to aggression. Have you experienced that in your life, playing a frustrating game and feeling aggressive afterwards?
Yeah, I could agree. I mean, let's kind of think of the stereotypical playing Ninja Gaiden. You're getting to the boss, you're like all into it, and then you're doing as best you can, and then you just get killed down in like 1 to 2 hits. And the first thing you really want to do is just toss the controller halfway across the room and just kind of, just scream at the top of your lungs at just like how incredibly frustrating and troublesome this game is. So I can definitely kind of agree that playing a frustrating video game would make me kind of irritable.
Oh, absolutely.
Have you ever actually thrown a controller?
Me? No, I've never thrown a controller. Controllers are expensive.
Yeah, that's right. I don't have money to be buying new controllers all the time.
Yeah.
You're too practical.
I think maybe that's what it is. I also don't throw like electronic devices. I mean, you look at I've seen kids at a store sitting in like the like shopping buggy, and they're like playing on a game, and they're trying to do something like play Minecraft or something, and then they're getting like either hurt or they're losing the game, and then they just take it, and their first instinct is especially seeing toddlers, they just kind of throw it away. They're just like, let's get away from me.
Yeah.
And it's a source of irritation, and we're shown that from a lot of times at young ages to throw away our irritation. It's a bug, you throw it away. Wet napkin, right. Throw it away. So it's just some of the
3DS.
Yeah, 3DS,
right, just toss it down.
And that's like when the 3DS came out. That was the first thing the guy told me. He's like, hey, they now can move it around more because it has like the gyro inside of it. And they're like, hey, what if your kid gets frustrated and just throw it across the room? This warranty's going to cover it. I'm like, dude, my daughter throws it halfway across the room. We're not getting another one.
That's right.
It's like we have other things we need to talk about other than how daddy's going to pay to fix this. It's like, what's up? Like, what's causing this?
Right.
So then you start talking about outside sources of frustration. But do you guys have a lot of insight? Because oddly enough, like I've not had the experience of having my daughter get extremely frustrated. She does, especially when she's losing in Mario Kart, get upset. But we've kind of talked about it over time. Like, winning isn't always like the whole part of us playing. It's to get better. It's to learn the new tricks. And a lot of times the person who's winning is next week's loser.
Yeah, I've seen that with my own son, and really that's a part of the reason I've got him into, I guess fostered his interest in gaming. I mean, we play a lot of tabletop games in addition to video games, and a part of the reason I think that some people play games, especially the reason I do, is you learn to win and lose graciously. I mean, this is why you put your kids in sports in part too. I mean, it's also to make friends and to get exercise, but to learn that, if you lose, it's okay. And if you're on the winning team, be a gracious winner. And playing games offers very similar opportunities. that will serve them well if they're learned properly. I've seen my son get really frustrated playing Minecraft when he's trying to build an intricate thing that's powered by redstone, and he's supposed to, step on that pressure plate, and it's supposed to move this piston, and that's supposed to make this thing fall down. And if it doesn't work, I just see him getting all stressed out. And that's when we'll take a break and talk about, well, let's go do something else. And once his mind is off of it, he's better. And then we'll talk about, the game's kind of frustrating, huh? Yeah, well, what could you do next time you get frustrated playing the game? I don't want to say do X. I want him to try to problem solve that himself. Well, what should you do next time you're getting really frustrated when I'm playing? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I can try this. All right, great. There's a good strategy. So try that out next time. So I think that's a part of why we play games. Yeah, they're fun and all that sort of thing, but it also helps you deal with frustration and do a good job winning and losing when you do win and lose.
I didn't think about it that way. That's actually a really good point.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dave. I think for myself, I think I was a little bit unprepared as to how hard my daughter would take losing, and so I admit I was a little bit unprepared, and I may have just said it's just a game. Don't worry about it, or don't cry, or whatever. But I don't know if I had enough, what's the word I'm looking for?
Foresight,
or just to be able to step back and see the bigger picture, to understand, it isn't just a game. Like, you can't just say it's just a game and just dismiss how they're feeling, but that, to them at that moment, it's something is really upsetting, and you need to understand and help them work through that. That feeling. Like, nobody likes to lose, right? Nobody likes losing. It hurts. It feels uncomfortable. You don't like it, and especially if you're playing, like you were mentioning, tabletop games, Dave. Like, if you're playing a board game where chance or luck, randomness is involved, you can win a game or you could lose a game on a single roll, right? Like, it's not fair by any means, or, there's nothing skillful that you could have done to win or lose. So, so for that, I mean, sometimes you struggle with that. Like, why do I always lose? How come my sister always wins, or things like that,
Right.
Feelings like that, those are difficult to sort out sometimes. But, well, that's why we're doing this podcast. So hopefully we can give advice to some people who have kids that are younger, and that this is coming. All this is coming.
It is coming.
Yeah.
Sometimes when William and I play games together, like we play Pokemon a lot. I know this is a card game, or were you playing really a video game with your kid too? That's a competitive game, like Smash Brothers is a great example. You might think, just gonna let him win, and sometimes you do let him win, and sometimes you beat him because he's got to learn that. Oh, well, I didn't win this time. Maybe I'll win next time. And so there is. Believe me, I'm acutely aware of the temptation to just go, I'll let him beat Jigglypuff down and walk out with the V. And sometimes I do let him win and feel that excitement, because you want gaming to be rewarding, I mean, especially for me, I want to make a little gamer, and I suspect you guys want to make little gamers too, Exactly. That's what my joke is. I had a hard time finding a gaming group, so I'm just breeding my own.
Yeah,
so it's got to be fun, right? Exactly. Oh, I win sometimes. Cool. Now I want to do this again.
Yeah, it's no fun. Like, I mean, imagine if your parents were teaching you how to play baseball or something, and all they did was just throw fastballs at you that you could never hit. Like, how fun would that be? Right? That's no fun.
That'd be no fun. But every now and then, I would say throw a nice 90 mile an hour right down the middle.
Yeah. Because I can do that.
Because I can do that. Because I can do that. Also because it will make winning that much sweeter when it does happen.
Yeah.
And the child will learn that I lost, yet the world still turns. Yep. It's okay. True. And let them see me lose too. Sometimes he'll get what's that guy's name starts with a G. his superpower is like ridiculous, and he just sends Jigglypuff sailing.
And
so
Ganondorf?
yes, Ganondorf. Oh my gosh, I cannot
Thinking
beat Ganondorf.
Greninja.
Or maybe Greninja, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, it's Ganondorf. I know it is. So he'll beat me, and he'll see Dad lose, and he'll see Dad go, oh well, maybe next time.
Yeah.
That
Good game.
helps out too. Yeah,
game.
good game, son. Now I'm breaking out Jigglypuff. You better run.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to talk about a little bit of a twist to this with frustration, is that sometimes I noticed with my kids is that if a game, if they find it hard to control, that they get frustrated, and then they don't really want to play that game as much. Have you noticed that? And do you have any thoughts on how to fix that? Like, is it maybe just simply an age thing? Like, they just need to be older and more dexterous, or?
It could be. I know. Is it Terraria or Terraria? I never know.
Terraria?
Yeah, there's a Fire TV version, and I don't know if you guys have seen the Fire TV game controller. It's similar to an Xbox controller.
Okay.
But it feels really cheap, to say the truth. I kind of expected, so that's okay. He loves to play that game on the iPad, but he loathes it on the Fire TV because he says it's just so much more difficult with the controller. Same with Minecraft PE. He refuses to play it on the Fire TV, but on the computer or an iPad, it's hands down his favorite thing to do. So it's funny how the same game, literally the same game, he will not touch because he hates the way the controller makes the experience.
That's really interesting. I have not encountered anything that's been, at least with my daughter, she's felt that it was frustrating to kind of control.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I have come across that many of times, and I don't want to do it, which I guess would be the terrible thing as a parent. Be like, oh, no, you got to try it. Oh, it plays terribly. But then again, I feel the same way, like, where a lot of our kids growing up, playing Minecraft on an iPad is pretty unapproachable for me, but I could sit here and play it with a controller and on a PC, like, no problem.
Right.
So, but
same for me. Yeah. I'd rather play Minecraft on a computer than an iPad. For some reason, I think it's so frustrating on the iPad, but give me a mouse and a monitor and great, I'll play all day.
Yep. I think it's also that different of how our kids are being raised and how they interact with products. You mentioned your son is playing on a controller, which is for most, like, between me, you, and Eugene, it's like that's our norm. Playing with a controller is what we do. But and that would be the most optimum way. Like, someone's like, oh yeah, you can play it on the Fire TV with a controller. I'd be like, let's do this. And then it's like, hand me the iPad. It's like, oh, we'll tap the screen. I'm like, what's it got a really intuitive, like, screen tapping technology or something? Like, is it made for this experience? It's like, then I don't want it.
Yeah, forget it. I want the controller back.
Yep.
Yeah. I found it to be a thing with Mario Kart a lot, because the kids, they wanted to use the wheels and they wanted to do the motion control thing, but it didn't always work as great, and they got frustrated with how they were crashing into the walls and things, and but also, they were little at the time too, right? So they're not as coordinated, and so so now with the Wii U, and we've got Mario Kart, and it's, probably 5 years later, I still notice a bit of that hesitancy. To get into it, oh, is it going to be like, how I remember, and it was really frustrating and I never was any good at it. And I think too, it depends on your kid. Some kids, if they want to be really good at things and when they can't pick it up and just be really good at, they get frustrated. So that's a tendency, we have to teach through, I guess, as well. You're not going to pick up something the first time right away, and you need to practice at things. You need to try again and, get better at it. It's a skill, right? So,
yeah. My son has a tendency to get frustrated with something that's still hard after 5 minutes, riding his bike or something like that. So I think it's a good opportunity to teach a little persistence.
Oh yeah, that's actually probably one of the best examples of persistence. Riding a bike. I mean, that's not just something you can be like, oh, let's take the training wheels off and let's do it. You're going to get a scraped knee, maybe a bloody elbow.
Right.
Yeah. These are things I think we can remind our kids about when they get frustrated and they don't want to try something. You remember when you learned this, and it didn't happen right away, right? So you gotta maybe try again and expect that you're not going to do that great at the start, but if you keep at it, you'll be racing with the best of them.
Something I like to say to them is now, did not hard work pay off? Like if they were laboring over a project for school and then they come home with a good grade, or they come home with a good grade on the test, or the tricky Minecraft redstone thing William's been working on finally worked. I love to say, well, didn't the hard work pay off? It's just sort of reinforce, I know it was hard, but you did the hard thing, and the result was the good thing. So just to focus on the fact that, yes, this worked, and you had this great result because you did that hard work. And wasn't the hard work worth it? And they say, yeah, it kind of was. And I'm hoping that becomes a little lesson that sticks with them when the hard work is, dealing with the boss or applying for a loan or who knows what.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really good kind of way of presenting it. It's like, hey, life isn't fair a lot of the time.
Right, and you're going to be frustrated a lot of the time. But if you keep your head down, it should work out.
And by boss, you mean like at the end of the level, right?
Oh, I didn't mean like work. I meant like when you're trying to get Peach, and here comes Bowser again.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I guess while we're reflecting, is there something that maybe you would have done differently, or maybe something you would have told yourself, 5 years ago when you were dealing with your kids? I know I've learned a lot tonight from you guys.
Yeah. I guess I'll go first.
Sure.
I keep jumping out front, so I guess if anything I would have done differently, I probably would have tried to get my daughter more engaged with kids her own age, and actually doing some competitive stuff. A lot of times, she sees dad, having fun playing Mario Kart or playing Smash Brothers, and so her interactions of competition has been with, a bunch of adults and trying to jump in and be Pikachu when we play Smash Brothers.
Right.
So I would. That's probably one of the few things, is because adults can usually be a little more sympathetic to children when they're trying to get through a frustrating time, and then when you get with kids who kind of rub it into your face, you're not used to that. So that's probably the one thing I would change if I did anything.
That's good.
That's good.
For me, I think I would probably, before playing games that involve luck, would have had a good sit down beforehand and explain that you might lose at this game through no fault of your own, but that it's okay, and that we're gonna just play to have fun together, and playing together is more fun than who wins or loses. I think I don't know that I prepared my kids enough for that, because I feel like a lot of times it was really upsetting when just by chance you don't win, right? So
yeah, especially if it's a dice game and you really have there's no skill or planning involved. It's just
that's right.
Gravity and friction determines how you win.
Yeah.
Oh, and I would have introduced controllers to my kids earlier as well.
Oh,
as opposed to just Wii remotes.
I think that might be the only thing I did at a young age. Is controllers were one of the first things, and I even went a little further back and was like, "Hey, here's a Nintendo. It's like, check out the simple way." I did that stereotypical parent thing. It's like, "Hey, let's look at old games," and then she's like, "Well, there's all these new games out." Like, okay, we'll go that route.
Dave, is there anything you wish you knew back then?
Well,
now?
It's oh my gosh, how much time do you have? But as far as kids and gaming is concerned, I wish we had established a regular family game night. This is something that my family did. We'd sit down and play Life or Clue or who knows what it was. And we've done it sporadically here at home. Every now and then, hey, let's break out a game, or let's all go upstairs and play Mario Kart together and laugh and goof around and have a good time. And now it's, I don't want to say too late, but hard to do that because my daughter has, ballet 5 nights a week, and she's in Girl Scouts, and my son's in Cub Scouts, and my daughter's going to be 12, and she doesn't really want to play games with her grumpy old dad anymore. She wants to hang out with her friends, and I feel like I've missed a window, and it might reopen when they're in their late teens. But I know that right now they're in pure social friend mode, and I think if I had established something where every Thursday we sit down and make a bowl of popcorn and play games together and have a great time, that might have lasted through this period. So I do regret not doing that.
That's a good one. I wish I did something like that too.
Yeah, we don't have that regular night. We do, like you say, Dave, occasionally break out a board game and play together. But yeah, it's not a regular thing. Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that today's show has given you some insights and tips and things that you can do with your kids. And that'll be it for our topic. I'm just going to go around and see how we can get in touch with everybody here. Mikey, how can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at lmikey on Twitter, and then MikeyRollins.com.
Dave, what about you?
I am David Kalo on Twitter. That's Caolo. You'll find me writing at appleworld.today about Apple and all sorts of Apple goodness. And finally, I do a podcast with my partner, Aaron Menke, called Homework, all about working from home over at the 5x5 network.
Oh, that's really
nice.
awesome.
Awesome. And me, Eugene, you can find me on Twitter at GamerParent. And also this show is at www.themagichourshow.net. And you can tweet us at the show or follow the show at GP Magic Hour Show. And if you have any email feedback that you'd like to give us about what we've been doing here at the show, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at feedback@themagichourshow.net. We're also on iTunes and Stitcher, and there's an RSS feed for use in your podcast app of choice. Thanks for listening. Until next time.